everybody. Thanks for watching. So real quick, Merkabah Scholar Society members, make sure you guys check the app for the calendar. So the new calendar is up for our next meeting and everything else. So make sure you guys check the app for that. Also, MPA members asking about the trip to Egypt. You have to be in the society for the trip to Egypt. So mostly everybody from MPA is in the society now. So if you haven't by now joined the society, then obviously you don't fuck with me like that. So I don't know what to tell you. So people asking about the melanin video, and it's not in the list or what have you. Everybody is in the society, and if you're in the society, then you already got the link. It's on the app, so you already got the link to any new videos. So I'm not putting too much stock because it costs money for Podia. It costs money, and everything I do is extra. So I'm not putting too much stock in the Podia links. So if you're in the society, then you want to have access to it. It's on a whole different platform now. And you understand when you're in the society. So if by now, at this point, if you're not in the society, like I said, I drew that line. You didn't cross that line. So if you're not in the society, then like I said, you don't fuck with me like that. So don't be waiting until something new comes out to act like you follow my information when you made it clear. At this point, you don't care about the information. So I've heard it all. People say, hey, I can do my own research. Or you ain't the only one who can read books. And all the shit people say, to try to discredit what we do. I give a lot of respect to all the scholars and all the people out there, whatever you want to call yourself, who would take the time to put this information out. It's a lot of work. Until you took the time to edit video and do the research and put this stuff together in a way that people can understand it, until you do that and really understand what it is that we do, and that is not easy, then you're not going to never get it. You're not going to understand. You're going to be completely ungrateful and continue to be ungrateful about what we put out and the risk that we take in doing what we do. It's a lot. It's the reason why a lot of these people who was out years ago, putting out content are gone. A lot of these people are gone. It's videos all over social media about people saying shit years ago. The stuff that's coming out now that people are piggybacking off, we was talking about years ago, right? So the videos are out there to prove that. My research speaks for itself. It's just that simple. So if you follow me, if you've been paying attention and keeping up with the research over the years, do you understand what I talk about and what I get into? And like I said, I'm not trying to be no celebrity or be on a bigger, huge platform and be in front of thousands of people like I'm a rap star or what have you. I'm not trying to do none of that. It's about the information. And when I get into things, and I go deep. Sometimes it takes long, sometimes it don't. But this is very time consuming. And it's a lot that we do when we do this. So I always appreciate everybody who's been here. So again, at this point, if you're not in a society, you don't fuck with me. It's $18 a month. That's it. I waive the initial fee. So it's $18 a month. The link is in the description. That's all it takes. That comes with a lot. So when all the videos come out, you get them for free. We do meetings twice, sometimes 3 times a month. A lot of videos come out as well for the society specifically. So it's a lot that we do. You have the app. You have access to the app. We have the website. It's a lot going on. It's a lot coming up. So, again, I appreciate everybody in the society and everybody who's been inquiring about it. But like I said, I've been talking about this for a long time now. It's over a year now the society has existed. And I'm trying to get people in there that's in this like-minded energy to be around like-minded people. Right now, we're in a phase to where it's about building wealth and everybody, getting in that status to not have to worry about, money, not have to worry about, the rat race, and to be truly conscious and to be able to practice spirituality, you need to be free. You need to be free of a 9-to-5. You need to be free of the worry about paying bills and everything like that. You need to be free of that. And right now we're just in this phase to where we're working on that, and we're investing and working on certain things to get to that point so we can move on to more spiritual things. So yeah, just want to talk about that real quick. I'm getting a lot of emails, a lot of questions because I put out the preview for the melanin video. And everybody went all crazy on it. So yeah, I'm going to talk about that in this video because I got a lot of questions about it. So that's what we're going to get into in this video. So yeah, let's start. So yeah, in the melanin video, and I touched on this in the last live where I got into understanding your subconsciousness as being God and how the Bible is breaking that down to you in so many ways, right? So the Bible in so many verses are saying God is in you. You are God. Jesus says, isn't it written that I say ye are gods? And, I will always be with you even to the end of the world, so on and so forth. And it's giving you the understanding about your subconsciousness being God. And I always tell you guys, your subconscious is God. Jesus represents you and your conscious state. It represents your conscious state and your physical body, right? So the body of Christ, the consciousness, Christ consciousness, all that is wrapped up in Jesus, right? And this is why Jesus is followed by the 12 disciples, which represents the zodiac, which represents us all. So it's giving you the understanding that spiritually, Jesus represents us spiritually as far as our consciousness and our physical body as well, right? So think about that. You have Jesus in the flesh, which is a big deal in the Bible, and also, the spirit of Jesus, Jesus ascending, so on and so forth. And that's a whole other part, right? So you got to understand what that means, right? So you and your conscious state, what is that really? You and your conscious state, that's that voice you hear in your head, right? That's the reflex, right? When you catch something that you didn't really see coming consciously and you just grab it, it's the reflex, right? It's the consciousness that we walk around with, that we are wrestling with, right? And you're going to have your demons, and your demons would be the spiritual part, but dealing with the physical, of course, because anything bad for you is going to be affecting your physical body, right? And your subconsciousness represents God. So you understand the Bible is kind of trying to break this down to you, that God is the almighty, the powerful subconscious, and then no man comes to the Father but by me, which is Jesus, your consciousness, which it's about coming together, right? Masculine and feminine energy, whole lot of deep stuff, right? But what I was saying is understanding how your subconscious is calculative, right? It calculates movement and understands what you're going to do before you do it, right? Any type of movement you make, you think about it before you even do it. It just happens so fast that you don't consciously realize it, right? So that's something real deep to think about. So when I was talking about in the video and in the live about understanding how your subconsciousness works as far as what you're here to do, and that movement, right? That calculation of what the plan was that you made when you came here. And that's getting into the bargain, the deal we all made before we came here that we don't remember. So again, you got to think about it as a game. And you got to think about it as understanding that in order to play this game, then there are rules. And the rules are known and kept by your subconscious. Your subconscious knows all the rules and knows what the game is and knows what you're here for and what you're here to do. It knows what we need to get while we are here. And it can't tell you outright. Understand? It's just like teaching somebody math. You can't tell them the answer to the question. You have to break it down of how you got to this point, right? Remember, show your work. When we was learning the division in school, we had to show the work. You can't just write the answer. They wanted to see the work and how you arrived at that answer, because that's how you learn. That's how it's proven that you learned something, right? It's the same thing, same type of situation. So can't tell you outright. That's part of the rules. So you must learn. It's things that you must do in order to arrive at that point. And all your subconscious can do is attract this stuff to you when you put it out that you understand it needs to be attracted to you, right? Tough thing. Now, the thing is, we're out here and we're surrounded by so many distractions, right? It's so much going on, so much to really interfere with your consciousness and your path and what you're trying to do. And you're interacting with the world. You're experiencing things. And that's part of what we're here for. That's almost the main reason why we're here. Because through our experiences, we're going to learn, we're going to grow, right? So through our experiences, we're going to grow. We're going to learn a lot of things, and we're going to figure a lot of things out. And the biggest thing we're going to figure out is what we're here to do and that path that we should be on. And your subconscious is going to give you those hints and lead you down that way. Now, there is going to be the demons that hinder that, right? That's what Satan represents. And the demons represents the world. This is why the Bible says that Satan is the god of this world, because this world represents the physical and material, right? And the bad things, the stuff that's going to be in your way, that little devil on your shoulder versus the angel, right? So through your experiences, you're going to run into Satan, you're going to run into demons, and some of you are going to have demons put on you. And it's all it represents. It represents your procrastination. It represents your addictions. It represents your fears. That's all demons are when you understand, right? So those demons are going to keep you from your path. It's going to keep you from God. And this is why in the Bible, you have God versus Satan, right? Both are you. This is why God doesn't just kill Satan, because he is you, right? So you have to start looking at this on a totally different level. And then you begin to understand how the Bible is just the most amazing book ever, because it's breaking this down to you. So in the melanin video, I gave it to you from the beginning, from conception, being born, and that whole process, right? That's what Genesis is talking about. And then you becoming a living soul, right? God breathing the breath of life into your nostrils. That's what you take in when you come out your mother's womb, that breath of life, the first breath outside of the womb, the breath of life. And then you go on to become a living soul. And there are rules every step of the way that you must follow. And your parents is very, very pivotal in your growing stages in the beginning of life. It's a big deal. And we don't even know, we don't realize it. And you have to, bring a child into this world, teach them certain things. And let's just say your subconscious is relying on your parents to kind of put you on that right path. That's why it's important to be successful, to have good parents with good morals and good understanding of the world. If you're born into a wealthy family or a family that has good morals or good whatever, then you're going to be an okay kid and they're going to be able to teach you and put you on that path. But there's going to be things that start to come into your life when you become conscious enough that you have to start to accept. It's a big spiritual deal being a baby and being a child. This is why the occult is all wrapped up in the children and all this and that. Whole nother story, right? Because that's power. So much power in all of that. And it's the closest to, the truth, let's just say. But there's an energy within us as a child that we are still attached to as far as energetic wise, not so much consciously, but energetic wise. There's an energy. You begin to understand. The energy is going to be almost like a cheat sheet to tapping into a higher level of consciousness, if you understand. And this is why the occult is wrapped up in it. And so much, demonic, sacrificial, crazy stuff always involving children. We've seen this in the book of Genesis with the children, the child sacrifice, them eating babies, the Israelites. Why is that? What is all this going on wrapped up around children? It's a lot to it. That's a whole different topic that I won't get into here. I don't think people are ready for that. But your parents is important. And your parents is going to start this thing off. And then as you become conscious and you get into that more conscious state, it's on you, right? So then the games begin. And then you have to make those choices. And that's what it comes down to. And when I always say there are rules, your subconscious understands this. It understands that it can't break the rules and that everything that this game involves is conducive to your choices, right? Your choices is going to shape your reality. Choices is everywhere. Choices is everything. So if you understand when people say, consciousness is basically trying to experience you in this incarnation, but there's other dimensions with you in different incarnations, right? Different choices. So if I choose left, what would happen? Well, I want to know what happens if I chose right. So there's going to be a different you. What's going to happen if I go up? What's going to happen if I go down? What's going to happen if I take this job or that job? If I move to this city or that city, so on and so forth. The choices are infinite. So this is why they say this infinite realities, infinite dimensions, and so many different possibilities. And we can feel and tap into those experiences and those frequencies every single day. We do all the time. That's what deja vu is all about. It's so big and so deep when we get into it, right? So I talked about in the video, also talked about this in a live about the dream state and just imagining, shifting frequencies when you dream, and a dream state being a different reality that really exists, and you being in that body as far as you being you, but in a different dimension. Let's just say experiencing what it's like, experiencing a culmination of choices that you made at that point, right? So you're there to learn something. So the reason why you have a dream period, for those who don't dream like myself, you understand why if you got to that point. It's because you can no longer be fooled. And that's what it's about. The next stage is nirvana. And this is what the monks get into. Meditating is the biggest thing you can do to get to this point. Because after a while, you're going to start becoming conscious in a dream state. Now, if you've been meditating for decades and you understand that in the sleep state, which in meditation you would be almost there, like a demi-sleep, you understand that you're conscious. Now, even in meditation, you let go. And then, you're just gone. You're off in there. You're not really controlling, but you're conscious. So you can be in what we call a daydream, right? When you just start daydreaming, you start thinking about a whole bunch of stuff. Next thing you know, you're gone. You could be staring out the window and then you're just gone in a daydream. Remember that as a kid? And somebody will call your name or something to happen, you snap out of it. And it's like, welcome back. I talked about this before. And it's like, where did I just go? I was just somewhere else with this whole deep thought of doing something. And then now I'm back here and fully conscious, let's just say. So in that state, it's a learning process. The dream world is a learning process, and your subconscious is trying to give you hints and clues, no matter how stupid and crazy the dream may seem, right? So I talked about in the live about understanding you being in a dream state in first person versus in third person, right? Versus you being in your body, like how you look right now, and then it seems so real, versus you looking at yourself walking around, right? So if you play games from first person shooter to third person RPG or what have you, role playing, whatever. So it's a different look. When you have those dreams, they are important because it's trying to tell you something from the third person and the first person. The points of view are important. That's why we have it like that with plays. Looking at yourself from outside of you and understanding what your subconscious is trying to tell you is a deep thing. You need to be more observant, and that's what it means. You need to really observe what's going on around you, and it's trying to explain that to you. And then a lot of us don't make that connection when something happened that is similar to what happened in the dream state. Being in first person is another thing that's very important. It means it's really urgent for you to understand what you're experiencing now, to the point to where it's so serious that I want you to be in your normal first person state, to where it seems like the dream is real, right? So you got to understand those things and pick up on what the littlest things are that happen in those dreams. These things will affect your physical reality, right? So the whole thing is, in the Bible, God has these laws, right? Again, back to the laws, these rules, 10 commandments, so on and so forth. All these things he's commanding the Israelites to do and not do. So these rules and these laws exist. And God says, if you obey these laws, you will have, for the Israelites, you guys are going to have a promised land. And that promised land is going to be the land of milk and honey. You guys are going to be prosperous and dwell and live good, right? And that was the promise for them, that if you guys obey these things, this is what you can have. It's the same thing saying to you in your real life. If you obey these laws, these are not the so-called 10 commandments or what have you, as far as, on the surface. Because remember, God tells the Hebrews, don't kill, don't steal. And then he goes and commands them to do that, right? Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, or what have you. And he commands them to go and do exactly that, right? So it's not so much that. It's understanding there are laws, there are rules. Now, we're in this physical world where we have to deal with these physical laws. So it's kind of hinting on that. Of course, not to kill, not to steal, or what have you. There are consequences to that. But it's just getting you into that understanding that there are rules and things you need to follow, right? So in that understanding, there are rules, there are laws, there are things you should obey. There are things you should do. And if you do these certain things and stay on this right path, then it will lead you to success, which is true in our reality, right? Follow the rules. You do what you got to do. You don't cheat yourself. You can go and you can be successful. And in being successful, you'll live this life or what have you. And then it'll allow you to come into a better understanding of spirituality because you'll be free, right? So following these commandments and following these rules will lead you to that point. But he's also saying there are consequences if you don't. The biggest one is God will fucking kill you. As I talked about, you're dead, you're gone. So if I see that, and this is understanding how your subconscious works, if I understand that this path that we're on, and your subconscious being the almighty God, understanding the path that you are on and what we need to get out of this life while we are here, right? Understanding my hands are tied, and God or your subconscious, you can't tell you, don't go left, don't go right. This is something that you have to make a choice and choose to do. And your subconscious can already see, based upon what you have been doing, it can already calculate that you're not going to make it. That there's influence in your life that's more powerful than what it can do, and can already calculate the choices it's going to make. Remember, the Bible tells you that God knows all your secret things. That and things that's thought or done in secret, God knows, right? Why does it say that, right? It says that because God is you. It's your subconscious that understands what you're going to do. There is no hiding from it, right? So in the Bible, when it says God is all knowing, God is all powerful, it can't be talking about the God of the Bible, because God didn't know that the angels was going to rebel in heaven. God didn't know that the serpent was tempting Eve, right? He came down and was clueless. So how does God know all? clearly it's not talking about the biblical God. It's talking about you and your subconscious and it knowing all your thoughts before you even think it. It knows. So when it knows and it determines that, dude, you're not going to go where we need you to go. And I'm not going to waste my time here dealing with this because there's nothing that I can see in this frequency, in this atmosphere that you have put yourself into that's going to change this reality for us. So you die and it will put you on the path to your death. That's what the movie Final Destination is about, right? So in our manual, scholars, you'll see I have a whole section in the manual called Final Destination. I get into this whole thing. And you guys will see it when the manual comes out. So it's giving you that understanding that once it knows that there's no way, you're gone. So it will engineer your demise. You have calculated it. It's already set in motion. And now by you not being on the spiritual path you're supposed to be on, that you need to be on, getting the knowledge you need to get to this point, by you not following the rules and the laws and understanding what you need to do, you making the choices to go against God, which is you. You're making the choices to go against God, God's laws, God's commandments or what have you. And then this is what it's giving you. So you get hit by a bus. Straight bullet blows your brains out. You get robbed and killed. And everybody said, oh, he was a good person, or it's just so sudden, whatever it may be. And this is how you go. And no matter how it happens and what capacity that it's in, you are calculated to lead to that point. And understand, when you get into the occult and this whole called Illuminati depths and everything like that, this is why we see the numbers, because it's calculated, right? And they show it on the numbers. It's almost to, let's just say, manufacture the Almighty, right? So if you think about it, if it's part of a plan and it's calculated to where God or your subconscious is going to make it happen, then for them to do that, to be in accordance with universal law, it has to be done on the numbers. That's going to make sense to some of you it will not, right? So that's why we see the numbers. That's why we see the numerology surrounding all these deaths, because it's done in a way that is conducive to universal law that's on the numbers, that fits with the way it would be done naturally. So even in your own death, which you would not be able to calculate, somebody would have to do that for you. The numbers are there. I promise you they are. So it's telling you, dude, you've been bullshitting your whole life, right? So the thing is, with struggle, for people who go through struggles and go through pain or what have you, Job, the story of Job is about what? Job being true and faithful to God through no matter what. No matter what God throws out there, no matter what he put on Job, Job didn't, he kept it going. Killed my family. I got to a point to where he was fed up and he cursed God or what have you. But understand what he went through. And it's about struggle, what have you. And that's life. So sometimes it's going to take struggle. Sometimes God or your subconscious will put you through that struggle in hopes that you will persevere through it. That it will be so painful and so torturous enough that you will begin to get on the path that you need to get on to get where we need you to be, right? So these things happen. And again, when people say, oh my God, why you have forsaken me, and God is testing me, and it's true. You are testing yourself because you've been bullshitting, and you've been bullshitting. That's why you're not where you're supposed to be, because you keep ignoring yourself. You go out to the world. Again, the Bible is telling you, don't deal with the world. Bible's telling you, I am in you, right? God is in you. Everything is there. And you keep ignoring that shit. You think it's a joke. You think it's a game. And you just going out and doing what you want to do, following the world, following Satan, right? And what happens? It leads to your demise, or it leads to a situation that you are in that is not good for you, right? Luckily for you, you still have a way. You still have choices to make that could put you on the right track. This is why it's telling you. Everybody tells you that's in a motivation position. There's always a way out. There's always hope. Why? Because you're not fucking dead. You're not gone. So you would think a person, oh, you have terminal cancer, it's over. Or you have AIDS, it's over. No, there's a cure for all that shit. You just have to figure it out. They diagnosed me with freaking congestive heart failure. I'm cured. Heart is back on track. People die from that shit. My dad died from it. And boom, by me knowing what I know, good to go, right? So the body is amazing, right? That's why the ancient Egyptians revered it and put it in so much, because they understand how amazing it is. There's nothing that we can get on this planet that we can't heal from. There's no such thing as a fucking terminal disease. Dude, you can heal your body like that. You have to understand how, but you won't do it because you watch too much fucking TV or play too much games or you bullshit, whatever it is. You don't want to learn it. You don't want to get the knowledge. So again, when I did this, when I put the society together in the first place, when I put the academy together, it was to bring together like-minded people, right? People who are serious about this. And in me being me, and I be busy, and there's so much I got going on. And, you know, I was naive because I really believed that people was true to the knowledge. And I had to realize that, you know, people are just bullshitters. Some people want to be a part of something to say they're a part of something, or to get knowledge that they can use in a debate, whatever it is. A lot of people are not serious about what I'm talking about. And I thought people got it. And I started to realize that these people don't understand what the fuck is going on. They really think this is just some game we playing called consciousness. And they don't really grasp how deep this is. So the society was created. And like I said, I drew the line. And the people who understood what that meant crossed the line. And they're here. And they've been with the society understanding what's going on. And when you understand how serious this is and what's going on, whether you choose to believe what I'm talking about or not, then it's a difference, right? You become a different you. You start to look at things differently. And what I'm talking about, a lot of you guys already have realized because you guys have already seen the signs. If you're seeing 9/11, you're seeing 11/11, you're seeing the numbers, it's your subconscious telling you. I will literally turn my head at my phone or wherever 9/11 is when it happens, right? 2 times a day. If I'm playing Madden and the clock hits 9/11, I will look at it and see it. It's amazing. It's your subconscious telling you that, dude, you're on the right track. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You are trying to connect with me, right? So Jesus, again, is telling you the only way to the Father or God or what have you is by Jesus, which is your consciousness. So consciously, you have to choose to make these choices, and those choices will lead you to God, which is your subconscious, which you need to come together, right? So let's go by the masculine, feminine energy joining together, right? We are a dualistic being. The Bible is a dualistic book. Everything is duality in this world. There cannot be good if there isn't evil. There's no such thing as just good, right? I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. So people thinking about this utopia where everything is going to be good, good, good. No such thing will ever exist. I'm sorry. It's just not conducive to this reality. There will always be bad. Whether that exists in your life or not is up to you, right? You have to make that choice because it's what money is. The next DVD, again, by the way, will be on money and how deep that is. That's what money is. It's why it's the juice. We look at it, we say it's the root of all evil, what have you. Yeah, it can be because it buys material. The material is evil. People kill for the material, right? But it's also the root to all spirituality. Money is freedom, right? Money affords you the freedom to go out and be spiritual, to get the knowledge, to experience the all, right? What's here. And in those experiences, you can go and figure it out, right? And you're going to get some people, and it's another thing that's in the Bible, and you have to understand, again, dualistic. You know, if you're rich, being rich and having all that money leads to evil. So if you're not in the spiritual path, basically walking with God or what have you, with you, and you're wealthy, you're going to be more conducive to the wealth, right? You cannot serve two gods, right? And then you're either going to serve the money purpose, the money powers, or you're going to serve yourself. And there's a way you can have both. There's a balance to it, though, right? And it's one of the reasons why you have rich people give away money. Rich people who, when they die, they leave their money with somebody. There's a balance to it. You can be rich and do good things. You being rich and you doing what you do to get your money is going to be bad for somebody else. It's competition in business. You're hurting their business, you being in business. So many different ways you can really look at this and see the duality in you being rich. But if you have this money and you're on a spiritual path and you understand what's going on, it's a beautiful thing. It's a good thing. Money makes the world go round, right? You are the world, right? And you get to go around the world when you got that money. You get to experience the world when you have it. And there's choices you have to make in order to get to that point. So the biggest thing is understanding fear God. Fear God. Fear yourself. A lot of times when we back out of a fight or when we back out of a conversation, a lot of us, an argument, we do so because we're scared of ourselves. Not because we a punk, not because we're scared of the person, we're scared of ourselves. So if you're one of them people, you know what I'm talking about, to where I don't want to argue because I know I'm going to snap. And if I snap, it's going, it's going to be no stopping me. All hell is going to break loose. My temper is that crazy, right? And then you have to control that. And that's life. That's what this is. It's like you being in control of you. You being able to suppress what you want to do that is, being brought on by the evil part of you. Because that's what we all have. We're all capable of evil. We're all capable of good. We have both. So we got to understand the capacity that is pointing us towards the evil part and towards the good part, and what that is, what that atmosphere is, I should say. And we're in that atmosphere based on the choices that we made. So if you understand by now, I try to tell people this, like the Bible is the book you have to read. You have to know the Bible, understand the guide that it's giving you, right? It's a reason why the Torah, the Bible, and the Quran is on the altar in every Masonic lodge, right? Because those are the rule books. Those are the guides to life. That's why they're there. And you have to understand these books, understand what's being taught in these books, what's being told to you, because it represents the here, the why you're here, the purpose, the point, all of it is there. At the end of the day, even when you look at it, hell, what is hell, right? What is the Bible telling you? God, and this is for the people who believe God is responsible for everything. Well, it was his time, or God called him home, right? You died. You're dead. So you died and went to hell, right? You didn't listen to God. And you died and you went to hell, right? So you didn't listen to your subconscious. You died and you came back here. Plain and simple. You came back here. This is hell. And you're back here, right? So that tells you that there are things you have to get. We are the ancestors. We have failed. It's people that's here to teach these things. And that is the point and purpose of this incarnation. But if we're here, it means we failed in our past life. And we were supposed to fail. And that's what you got to understand. We were supposed to do that to get to this point. And when I talked about the 9, when I made the video about the 9 and understanding that right now is the time for us, and it will never be another time again. You're going to have to start over for escaping the will of reincarnation, right? And the only way you can do that is through knowledge. Understand, you can't have a game, right, to where you don't give the person enough time to understand the rules to play the game. Or you don't give a person enough time for things to come into the game, the pieces, right, the weapons, whatever it is, for a person to successfully navigate through the game and win, right? That would be cheating. Throughout our life, throughout what we call history, we've seen these things. These things come up. And we have to learn from them. And we have to take things from them and use them to move forward. And that's what history is trying to tell us. And things have been covered up for a reason. Things have not been taught to us for a reason, hidden for a reason, because you're not supposed to get them because it's going to interfere with certain things. So, it's so deep. It's real deep, way more deeper than what I'm talking about here. And when you start to get along the lines of understanding this, you begin to understand life. You begin to understand, what this is about and what's happening. The biggest key, it lies in the Bible. It just does. It's there. The biggest key is in the Bible. And the biggest key, which is the Bible, is telling you that the biggest key is within you, right? So in order to understand the key inside you have to understand the key what's in the Bible, right? It unlocks one door that leads to another, that leads to you, right? Leads right back to you. And then you doing everything within you, because at the end of the day, it's only you. All you can do is what you can do. So whether somebody helps you, you had to make the decision to bring that person in your life in order to help you. You had to make the choice to accept their help. Everything comes back to you in some capacity. It's all going to be with you. You can't say, this person bought this for. You have to still accept that. That's a choice you made. And sometimes when accepting a favor or accepting money, it can have consequences. So not all things you accept can be good. There's a duality to it. You owe a person now, or a person, you're in debt to a person, or a person is looking at you a different way because you accepted a gift. Whatever it is, there's a dualistic nature to it. So The more you begin to understand these things, the more you begin to look at the world differently, the more you begin to understand how important knowledge is and why you have to get it in you to unlock these certain doors. You are your own worst enemy. That's why we say that. Nothing else is, right? A person that's oppressing you and a person that is abusing you, whatever it is, it exists because you choose to allow it to exist. It exists because you haven't made the choice to get away from it. So you can sit there and woe is me and this and that. You have to choose to walk away from it. You have to choose to be conscious. You have to choose education. You have to choose to make the right decisions, right? This is not for everybody. Everybody's not going to understand what we talk about and what we get into, right? So don't try to bring everybody along for the ride because it may not be for them now. What they're going to see is your success and how what you're talking about has been benefiting you over the years. So when you start putting this stuff into action, the things we talk about in society, and you start seeing the benefits from it, they're going to see the benefits too. And that's how they follow you. That's how people begin to understand. People didn't really, listen to me or think I was doing anything until, I started making millions of dollars, till I got rich. So I bought the Lamborghini and bought all the cars and started taking all the trips and doing everything I was doing, And they saw that and it was like, wait a minute, how is God seemingly blessing him? But I go to church every fucking Sunday and I'm not getting no blessings. I'm struggling, right? And then we look at that in so many different capacities. And that's how you got to differentiate, right? This is how we know that it's talking about the God in you and not this, biblical God, right? Because as I say all the time, how can these rappers be talking about what they're talking about and millions of dollars and mansions and Bentleys and all kinds of cars and money and everything like that? And they're completely going against what we think, right? The Bible wants us to not be dealing with, right? So they got to look at that, understand that their God is within you and that God is you, right? And then in you being true to you and understanding the knowledge you need to get in order to come closer to that God, once you understand all that shit and you begin to put it into motion and action, things will change in your life, right? If not, then final destination. Plain and simple. Again, appreciate the support from everybody and everybody that's in the society. The link is in the description for people still trying to join. And NPA members, like I said, almost all of them are in the society. If you're not in the society by now, again, you don't fuck with me like that. It's just that simple. Let's keep it real. You don't fuck with me like that. There's no way in the fucking world. If you're that hung up on the $18 that you blow on bullshit every day or what have you, that you don't want to spend $18 a fucking month to go towards what I'm putting out, to go towards your education or what have you, then you don't belong there. We don't want you here anyway. So it is what it is. But please, with the bullshit in the comments and everything, and I don't understand. And when before this even happened, I had already put out all the information of where you need to go to get the videos. I told you guys what Podia did. That wasn't on me. I don't own Podia. Podia is a completely different company. I don't own that company. I use them as a service. So they have their own rules and policies that they make up to where I couldn't send emails to fucking 1,000 people or what have you. So I made it. I made a workaround, and all you had to do was pay the $9 or $9.99 to get that workaround. But it was going to ensure that you didn't miss any more videos. People didn't want to do that. It was the only way I can make it happen. So it is what it is. But now, again, after all that, the society, and this is why I did that, so we don't have to deal with none of that shit no more. So again, if you're NPA and you're not in the society, that's on you. I'm not going to, put so much time and effort into Podia for NPA when there's only like 5 or 6 of you, not even a handful of y'all that's left, right? So if you're not going to join the society, you're not meant to be in the society. So yeah, that's my time, people. I had to pull over and do this video real quick, but yeah, thanks for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.